I'm Kim Davenport of the Pro Billiards Tour. We at the Pro Billiards Tour has been developing a game, and it is almost done. And guess what? It is going to be fun and exciting, and I can't wait, and it is called Stroke Zone. It is a game in a tournament format. Enter the zone, the Stroke Zone.
Coming soon to pool players, professionals, and lovers of all things billiards is Stroke Zone, a new billiards game format for players of all skill ranges. A revolution in billiards training and gaming designed to give players at all skill levels an exciting challenge with every shot and guaranteed game improvement. The zone allows players to connect and compete in pool rooms, sports bars, community clubs, and home game rooms around the clock.
Let me tell you a little bit about Stroke Zone. There's no break, there's no jump cue, and there's no safeties. It's called pin point position, and I'll tell you what, everybody has an equal opportunity to shoot the same shot. So if you play 9-ball, you break the balls, make 2, and you get hooked. Your opponent breaks, makes 2, and he's straight in. Hey, it's not gonna happen playing Stroke Zone. You're gonna get your shot no matter what.
The object of Stroke Zone is simple. Score points by pocketing a ball and then positioning the cue ball in the zone. Sound easy? Think again. Stroke Zone is comprised of 180 designated layouts by Hall of Fame champion Kim Davenport, with 120 amateur layouts, as well as 60 pro layouts that will test the cue ball control of the best professionals. A fun, exciting, and action-packed gaming experience that teaches and improves your stroke and touch, the hallmark of the greatest pros. Stroke Zone is the newest way to play pool.
We know tournaments, and it's time for something new. Stroke Zone.
To learn more and to become a member, visit ProBilliardsTour.com.
Welcome everyone to Stroke Zone Studios, located here inside of the Varsity Club in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I'm Dale Little Cheddar Lorenz. That gentleman right over here is my very good friend, Mr. Trevor Simpson. Say hello, Trevor.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Stroke Zone Studios. Excited here.
What a day. What an event we've got for you. It's the inaugural opening round. You know, talking with the players, they don't realize, or they didn't realize, that today is the very first match of the very first round of the very first Stroke Zone Knockout Challenge. So I don't know if anybody else is excited, but I am thrilled to be here. This is going to be a lot of fun.
It is a day full of firsts here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, on top of the fact that it's snowing decently for the first time here in Wisconsin, which is crazy given that it is already the first week in February. But man,
got about 3 inches here this morning, or overnight. So, all right, we got a couple of people we've got to mention first, because if it wasn't for them, well, Trevor and I wouldn't even be sitting here. So, first of all, the Pro Billiards Tour, Mr. Don Mackey, you've already seen him in the chat. Good morning, Don. Good afternoon. Well, he's in Florida, so they don't even know what snow is. I don't think so.
Probably is just laughing maniacally at the cold and the snow.
As well as Mr. Kim Davenport, the creator of Stroke Zone, or I should say the stemming from Target Pool itself back in 1990. Also, of course, you're already watching it on, if you're not watching it on the Pro Billiards Tour channel, you're watching it here on Outer Points Productions, which is my channel. That, and in conjunction with the creator of the zone itself, Mike Flanagan and Tom Flanagan down in Ohio, Projection Pro Billiards. So thank you to all of them. This is exciting. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, realize, people, this isn't something that just happens magically with one person. This is the culmination of a lot of effort from a lot of people, and take it all in, enjoy it for what it is. We'll certainly be looking for any and all feedback you have during and after the match. This is all a work in progress, but is a work of passion from a number of people. So absolutely give them their due.
Well said, Trevor. And this is beta testing, if you will, for Stroke Zone itself. We've got a lot of things to talk about throughout the match. I've already briefed the players as to pretty much what's going on. But just so you know who they are, there they sit. All right, we've got Dan Yenor on the left and his wife, actually very recent engagement, Miss Bobby Jo Durst, pool player as well. And then on the right, we've got Dan Ramstack. Now, you're going to see on their scoreboards and everything else throughout the match that each one of them has a rating. That's their Fargo for right now. And the reason I'm explaining that is because this is the very first round, they don't have a stroke zone rating yet. That will happen after they have played X amount of rounds, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yep.
All right, so because they don't have a rating, there's the players as well on the bottom of your screen. They're going to disappear in a little bit while to kind of leave opening for the players to walk around so they're not stepping on themselves. I don't know if that's even relevant. Or
it might be a little bit relevant. The least we don't want to give either of them a boot to the head. So not this early in the match, I guess.
So I'm going to, now that we've done our opening segment, I'm going to turn that light off out there. And the reason being is it's going to make it look a lot better for you viewers to actually see what's going on out there. So this is actually, we're going to be doing 30 shots today. Each set within the zone itself is comprised of 15 different layouts or innings. All right. We're going to do 15 innings twice. So there's going to be a halftime show. I don't know if we want to call it a show or not, but we're gonna give Mr. Mackey a call live.
Yeah, so be a little halftime presentation and some more talking about what Stroke Zone is and what the Stroke Zone Challenge entails and where we see this going forward. I was going to also ask Dale, how many players do we have in this particular Stroke Zone Challenge?
Very good question. You know what? Put that back on there. That's a good question. It's a little bit darker now in here because I turned the light off outside of the booth, but
easy with the hand. Jeez,
this
dude.
is hey. So, in the and I'm not going to talk too much about it, but in the knockout challenge that I do here at the Varsity Club, it's single elimination brackets and everything. So it's either fashioned after a 16, 32, 64, 128 player bracket.
Right.
So in this, I wanted to use that format, and the reason being is the players get to schedule their own match. It's a 16-player field comprised of Fargos between 525 and 599.
Right.
All right?
Right.
Once I do the blind draw, or I actually do a live drawing for the players to witness, and it's kind of a fun way of doing it. And once the draw is complete, the players contact them their opponent.
Right.
So they schedule their own match, and they have 2 weeks to schedule it and play that match. All right. Again, single elimination. So then we're down to 8, 4, 2 finals.
And a winner.
And a winner. I think that answers your question. Yes, we've got 16 players.
16 players. And what do we do that's a little different between each round here when you're looking at knockout challenges and the Stroke Zone Challenge here?
So one of the things that has been a staple of the knockout challenge, and I'm going to use it here in the Stroke Zone Challenge as well, is any typical normal bracket that you see in pool, you have the ability to look on whatever format is being used or platform that's being used, whether it be digital pool, league pool stats, so on and so forth, or just a paper chart. You can look and see who your upcoming opponent is going to be. Not going to happen in this. No. In the knockout challenge, there is a redraw after each individual round. So it's a lot of fun. Then it starts all over again. They got 2 weeks to schedule and play their match.
Yep,
so
adds a whole nother dimension to the tournament, having participated in one of the knockout challenges and then having watched a few of them. It definitely adds a whole different feeling to the mix. You don't, like you said, you don't get to do the standard thing, if you will, to look forward in your bracket and see, well, okay, this is if I win, who I assume or can guess that I will be playing. It is redrawn every round, so you could get some magical draw or you could get the worst draw in the world. And it kind of doesn't matter after you play your match because it's all new the next round.
Indeed. every one of these matches are going to be streamed live. So we've got a total of 15 matches for you guys to enjoy. So with that being said, again, the players have been prepped. You're going to see a lot of things on the screen between shots as to the description of the shot. The scoreboard is going to be on and off. Again, this is beta testing, so we're going to figure this out as we go. But you as the viewers, we just want you to sit back and enjoy the production, as well as I told the players the same thing. Just have fun. You know, that's what pool's about. This is a passion for me. It's a passion for the players, as Trevor as well. God, that's just weird. It's like my hand breaks in half there. Anyway, we're going to have some more fun and shenanigans a little bit later on. So, I forgot completely this cool thing. Welcome to the Stroke Zone Studios, everyone.
Welcome to the Stroke Zone, folks.
We'll be back.
Little Cheddar is going to step outside, have a quick little word with the players, and we will lag to see who starts first. We'll get you through some rules here after the lag. The players have been briefed on the rules. We'll get you through the rules of the game as we go. Like we said, we realize this is all new, and this is new for us. We have play tested, and we have worked with the zone over the last couple months, and Don Mackey and Kim Davenport and both of their teams have done a ton of work, and Little Cheddar as well, done a ton of work to prepare for this. And it looks like we have Dan Ramstack winning the lag. And as they prepared for it, there have been changes made along the way and things happening. And boy, I tell you what, folks, it's an exciting day, a little bit of nerves for everybody, as I'm sure you can understand. So please do forgive us. The times and things may be not quite as smooth as you're used to, but as always on Outer Points Productions, you can expect nothing but the most mediocre commentary you have heard.
Didn't want to do that already.
Probably wanted to do that, though.
Yeah, didn't want to do that already. Let's get rid of that coin there.
So Dan pockets the first shot, and he ended up with a three-pointer, I believe. Or no, it did drift into the 6, so that would be 7 total. So that's his high total right now for points. He will take his second shot and attempt to get better.
Oh, very nice. All right, so 7 points for Mr. Ramstack.
And it's just that simple, folks. That quick, that simple. But you can see that despite the fact that he was short of the zone on the first shot, he made a small adjustment and went well past in the second shot. So ultimate precision required even for a really simple-looking shot like this.
So I'm going to give a verbal description. Oh, get in there. Get in there. Ooh, that is really close.
That is very close.
Yeah, that looks like a 7. So right now we're tied up. So here's how the game works. You get 1 point for pocketing the ball. If you don't, nothing else matters after that. The object ball, there's 3 elements to the game itself. There's the cue ball, the object ball, and the zone. All right? That goes in, but he's got a 3-point total. All right, so I'll give more of a description about that. We're now tied up at 7 apiece. All right, so what you're going to see on the screen right now, that was shot number 1. And that's the only way I could start it. So now we're going to shot number 2, or layout number 2, inning number 2, however you want to word it.
Yep.
And before we switch to the next one, because you've never seen this before, I want to give you a brief description as to what's going to be coming in the future. You notice under the Stroke Zone logo there, we've got the scoreboard itself, which the players can input their own scores. We're going to do that today just for the ease of the stream itself, and do it right in front of you. It won't be on that scoreboard. It'll be the one that you see on the table. Or I mean on the below the table, sorry.
Right.
There's the layout, and at the very top of the table where the layout is, it shows what round we're in, the set, and the number, and then what inning we're in. All right, now, as you can see, you've got Kim Davenport's notes, which I can toggle on and off. It kind of gives you an idea as to how to hit the shot, and then the difficulty level. All right, so now we are going to remove that, and Trevor is going to give them the next shot.
And there is the next shot, laid out on the table, just as you saw in the graphic earlier ahead of time. So Dan is going to set the balls up for Dan. It is the Battle of the Dans today. In case you hadn't noticed, we have Dan Ramstack going first, and Dan Yenor setting up the balls. So again, object here, as you can see, we're going to pocket the one ball in that corner, and one rail the cue ball on a pretty natural angle towards the zone.
Beautifully hit.
Well,
Lacking a little bit of speed, so that's 4 points.
and another interesting component of this, you can tell the guys are doing it kind of naturally already. They're having chats with each other and a lot of banter back and forth on each and every shot, and I think that's an interesting, different vibe.
Oh, look at this! Look at this!
Well
Beautiful. All right, that's a round of applause.
Yes, that is our first 10-pointer.
Total of 17 points for Mr. Ramstack. Yeah, and what you were saying, Trevor, is you've played this before. I've played it so many times, and the camaraderie, the fun, the interaction with the players, it's a whole different type of feel or different vibe around the game itself, you know. And one of the things that I have been playing target pool since it came out way back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
This has done so much more for my game than I could ever explain to any up-and-coming player. It's because it helps every aspect of your game. All right, that is 7 points.
7. Yep.
All right, so Dan is at 14, and Dan is at 17. All right, we're going to get that over there and get you shot number 3 coming up.
So here's what shot number 3 looks like, and this is one where you can see that the zone actually takes up part of the rail, and that brings in an interesting little nuance with the rules here that I'll let little Cheddar get into.
All right, so one of the aspects of the game itself, and I guarantee you Don is going to correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, or he'll probably send a nasty gram my way.
Oh, yeah. I'm certain Don will have something to say.
So if the cue ball passes through the zone, goes all the way through, and hits a rail and comes back and ends up back in the zone, it counts. But if it goes past the zone, it completely misses the zone, goes to a rail, and then into the zone, it does not count. So like this here, obviously that's very obvious.
Yep, that is a single point.
So that is 1 point for pocketing the ball. Yep. I don't think did I do a description of that yet? I'm not even sure I did.
We haven't fully gotten into that, no.
So it's 1 point for pocketing the ball.
Yep.
I did mention that. If you don't pocket the ball, nothing else counts after that.
Nothing else counts, correct. Yep.
So then you have, in addition to that 1 point for pocketing the ball, you've got either 3, 6, or 9. That is how you score either 1, 4, 7, or 10 each inning.
Right. And it is not the base of the cue ball that matters. It is actually the entirety of the diameter of the cue ball any part of it breaking the plane of a single scoring area or a scoring zone is enough to score that point level. The other interesting bit here with a part of this taking up the rail is that let's say that Dan Yenor here manages to thin this really a lot and ends up getting the cue ball to touch the zone just past the first diamond, so it's in the zone and it bounces back out and lands in the 6 area. That does count because the cue ball went through the zone to start with. But if the cue ball were to, say, come off of a rail some wild way, like perhaps he tries to be interesting and go over to the long rail closest to the scoreboard first and then into the zone, that doesn't count because the cue ball contacted the rail before outside of the zone. So a little nuance there, and looks like Dan struggled a little bit with that shot, and
did he pocket the ball?
He
though?
did pocket the ball
right,
on the second
so
try. So
each one of
them
them 1 point on that.
The Dans themselves actually struggled a little with that shot. So what does that tell you, Cheddar? If this is a shot that you struggle with, what do?
You want to practice it.
You go home and you set this up on your table, or you go out to your local pool hall and you set something up like this and you practice it.
Buy a stroke zone system.
That's a perfect way to practice it. Let's look at the next shot.
I think we just did that one, all right?
We did.
All right, shot number 4. Zone's going to be right out almost in the middle. Pocket the cue ball. Pocket the cue ball. I don't think that's probably the right way to do it.
Let's not
Object
do that.
ball on the side, come 2 rails and into the zone. So
we'll get the next shot up for the players. Let them have a look. This one has a little bit of a nuance in with the object ball being that close to the side pocket. You can pocket it at a lot of different angles, but each of those angles will greatly change the path of the cue ball. So you really got to find the proper angle to pocket this ball to get the cue ball to come out and follow a path to the zone.
right, and how much of the 1 ball to hit? You know, you're not going to unless you miss cue. You're not going to miss pocketing the 1 in the side.
Right.
It's how thick you hit that 1 ball to get into that zone, or to hit the 2 rails first and into that zone.
Right. Gives you a very obvious.
Look at this, right on the grid lines.
Right on the lines. Gives you a really obvious
That's 4.
visual representation and a way to practice the what you need to, how precisely you need to pocket hangers. I'm sure you've heard us say multiple times in regular matches that balls hanging in the pockets actually are an advantage if you understand that you can greatly impact the path of the cue ball via changing how you pocket the ball. And this is a really good example of that as well. You see how that ball followed the first line, but it goes way wide off the second rail.
Yep, a little bit thicker on the pocketed ball or the object ball, which forced it outside the zone. So Mr. Ramstack gets a total of 4 points. And I promise you, at some point, we are going to mess up, or I am going to mess up the scoring.
No, we're going to mess it up.
We're going. So, again, and we're going to talk about, it's called the hub. All right, that one comes up just a little bit cheddar there.
Little cheddar.
1 point.
On a good line, so Dan's got an idea. Dan Yenor has an idea of the line.
The players themselves are going to be scoring themselves. I just have the ability to edit if something is done improperly.
And
Ooh, that is...
let's get a look at the
I
overhead.
think I may have to
That's
go
a
over
4.
and take a look at that one.
I'm pretty sure from here, kind of looking down the barrel of it, that it looks like a 4. So we'll see what Little Cheddar says when he gets a direct overhead view. That's awful close. So I think that was a 4-pointer.
All right.
So the refereeing there, and we'll now move on to shot number 5.
And again, this is Tom Flanagan and Mike Flanagan of Projection Pro Billiards. They're the I'll put their little logo up there on the left-hand side. So Tom, I believe it was, that came up with a little device that you put over the cue ball, take the cue ball away, and then it shows exactly the position of that cue ball. So unfortunately, I don't know where I put it. So we're not going to use it today.
All right.
But it's kind of easy to tell.
Anthony Sadlin asks a pretty good set of questions in the chat, asking if all the shots and all the patterns are the same for all of the players or all of the rounds, or will they be different?
Very good question, Anthony. And this is a discussion that Trevor and I were having prior to this. Is round 1 is going to consist of the exact same shots for all the players. Yep. You can practice these all you want, even if you have them on your home table. It doesn't make a difference. Yes, you know the pattern, you know the play, whatever, but it's going to be completely different when you get to the varsity club. Because now it's just like any other tournament that you play in, you have to get used to the conditions of the tables, the humidity in the air, the speed of the cloth, the amount of wax on the balls. You know, I mean, there's so many variables. So we actually, it's encouraging that the players do practice as much as possible. Ooh, this is another close one.
Another close one.
This might be. I may have to go out and
go look again. They're having a look. Cheddar's going to go out and take a look, boy, on the overhead view camera. Again, that is another close one that looks like it may just have crossed into the 10. We will absolutely make sure that we get that that checker. So no.
Just get 10 this time. You don't have to worry about it.
There you go. Yep. So that was a 7, very close to the 10, says the judge. So Mr. Ramstack with his second chance, and he needs to just hit that a tiny bit, and it looks like
Look
he
at this.
pulled it off.
Nice.
Well done.
I don't know if anybody heard me in the chat, or the viewers. I said, well, you know, if it was 7, just don't worry about it. If you hit 10, it doesn't matter anyway. So
and
there you have it.
And there he did. So perfect. He took your advice to heart. First time for everything.
All right. Yeah, no doubt. I would not recommend that for any of the viewers.
No.
All right, Mr. Yenor with an opportunity to stay within 3 points, scoring 4 on that one.
4 on that.
He's going to have to get a little bit more pace to that cue ball.
A little more pace, and maybe just get it to tighten up the angle a tiny bit so he's coming more towards the center of the zone. But he'll make those adjustments and shoot again.
Nicely done. Get in there. Get in. Slow down. What are you? 7.
Oh, well, 7.
That's okay. 26-32. So we were give me just a second here. Stay tuned for commercial break.
Right. We will have our first commercial break now that we are 5 balls.
A member.
Into
Visit ProBilliardsTour.com.
I'm Kim Davenport for the Pro Billiards Tour. We know tournaments, and it's time for something new. Stroke Zone.
Stroke Zone is an internet-based hub that connects and engages players in pool rooms, sports bars, and residential game rooms. Score points by pocketing a ball before positioning the cue ball in the zone. A fun, exciting billiards format that teaches you the skills your favorite pool players are known for. To learn more and to become a member, visit ProBilliardsTour.com.
All right. It looks a little dark in our studio. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
He went up to the beverage stand to get
Get a refreshment.
a little refreshment. So we can talk to you a little bit about what's going on. I don't think one of the things that I mentioned of the rules itself, or I didn't even put it on the screen yet, but here are the basics of gameplay itself. So the player with the highest point total after 2 rounds of the play obviously wins the game. It's not a race to anything, whether in 8-ball, 9-ball, 10-ball, so on and so forth. One of the things I wanted to say earlier, too, is the fact that this game is not designed to take the place of any other game out there. This game is specifically designed to enhance all of the other games that you really enjoy playing.
Absolutely.
The best part of this format, or the game itself, back when I started playing it, was what literally got me to a master player. I was stuck at a C player, maybe low B, and this is the game that brought me up to that next level.
Absolutely. What we're doing here is we're really gamifying a training tool and turning it into also a competitive tool, because as Cheddar can attest to, and I can attest to after a bit of play, and anybody else who's played for a while realizes that the mental challenge and the ability to maintain yourself under pressure is also a big part of playing the game of pool
100%.
and being successful in tournaments.
Absolutely.
And so here you're training both the physical and the mental part of it in a different way. And we all like to experiment and do things differently for just a change of pace every once in a while. So let's have a look at the next shot.
Well, let me switch it to number 5 or 6.
Number
I'm sorry.
6, you betcha.
Number 6, we're on the end rail again. It looks like they're pocketing the object ball down in the corner. Yep, in the zone. You don't want to scratch, obviously. So
Right.
let's see how the players do.
Let's give them a look. So as you can see on the table here, the zone in the top left part of the table as you look at it, for those who are longtime viewers, they will recognize that pocket as the Vincent Didio Memorial Pocket, though we don't have it labeled as such, but I'm sure Vince will still appreciate us giving him his due, as you will.
I'm going to help the players out on this one.
Okay. So little Cheddar going to go out and give him a little bit of a look at this one and get him the idea. So again, and this is another one where they hit the rail may come into play, because there is a good chance that the cue ball will catch the rail either prior to or after getting in the zone. So again, a little nuance here, and Don, please correct me if I'm explaining this wrong in the comments, but if they pocket the one ball and catch the rail while the cue ball is in the zone, then if it goes outside the zone and comes back in, it does count. But if it catches the rail before the zone or outside of the zone first, then that score does not count unless it stops dead in the zone.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Because it did hit the rail prior to going into the zone, it does not count. He gets 1 point for pocketing the ball.
Yeah, and this is one where you absolutely need to take careful aim again. So that is a 1 point finish. Yeah, Dan just made a comment. That looks so simple, but it is not. I can guarantee you this shot is not as easy as it looks, folks.
We've Salsa Man wondering what all the grunting is going on in the booth. This is exciting. I love watching that cue ball get right to the zone, and you're just waiting, like right there. You're just, where is it going to stop? Where's it going to stop? I wish I had a I wish I would have had that
you
on
had that
camera
on
because
you.
right now Dan Yenor is just beating his chest.
He was super excited about getting that one in the zone. That a boy, catching him up back up in points.
There, we'll give you an idea as to what's going on there. See if we can get Dan on. Oh, that's not so good.
No.
That's not nearly as good as the other one.
Yep, and that really is a shot where you have to catch that one ball so thin there.
All right,
If you
so
catch
that's
it too thick, it's absolutely going to roll outside the zone.
4 points for Dan Yenor, so he just creeped back within 3. I love it. That's a fun thing. If you stay real close to your opponent throughout the entire match, you can win on the last shot.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
How exciting is that?
Fortunes can flip very quickly. So.
All right. Side pocket is where the target is. This is a kick shot. So the cue ball is inside. You got to hit your...
Oh, whoop. Gotcha.
No, we're good. So it's a kick shot. The cue ball is almost inside the pocket, and then just a one-rail kick, and don't scratch.
So let's give the players a look and see what they think of it.
I'll tell you what, Trevor. One thing I'm really enjoying about this is I get to sit here and push buttons all day long and scroll on a mouse, and they have to do all the work.
Yes. Might have to go out.
They don't know
help
how
them.
it works.
Yeah, might have to go out and help them with a little. They're reading the instructions, but yeah, there you go. Dan Nenner just figured it out. So, yep, the object ball is going to sit right in front of the side pocket, and it is a one-rail kick shot. So, again, you know, this is absolutely something that can come up in match play, in a regular gameplay situation, any of the games, 8, 9, or 10 ball. And so practicing this and playing this on the table is absolutely a way to test your skills. And Dan's doing the same thing. He's trying out a measurement system that he's familiar with, going angle in, angle out, equilateral triangle looks, which is the ideal, but again, table conditions can change that. So let's see what he comes up with here.
A little bit long.
A little bit long, and that's going to do that. There are a number of reasons it could go long, most of which would be related to speed here in this instance. Usually playing a kick at that kind of a speed, at the kind of speed you need here, it's going to go a fair bit longer than it would at a more medium pace. So Dan's going to adjust for that. As he did, you could see that he hit a little different position on the rail.
Good adjustment. I think he had maybe just a smidge of left-hand English on it that caused it to go that direction.
Yep.
So no points awarded in that layout for Mr. Yenor. So one of the things that Mr. Mackey was saying in the chat is, so this progressively, and I'll try to get it up on the screen at some point, but this is like the second easiest of layouts number 1, if you will, or set number 1. There's 1A and 1B. This is 1B. And it's funny because the players, if you look at it, you think, oh, this is simple. I'm going to score 100 points. Good luck.
Yep. Come here and try and score 100 points.
Yeah, not
and
nearly
then
as.
we'll talk.
Oh, look at this.
That's beauty.
I think that is let's get on to the overhead, and yep, that is 10
Absolutely
points.
a 10-pointer for
Beautiful.
Dan Ramstack. Beautiful shot there. Well done. He made a really good adjustment afterwards, brought the cue ball just a tiny bit more up the table, and then picked up his speed just enough to bump it in. That is a very touchy shot.
All right, shot number 8.
Let's have a look here. Again, we have the zone up against a rail. We are going into the
Pocket,
corner.
yep, pocket it in the upper left and get the cue ball, probably just straight follow.
Yep.
Cue ball, or object ball frozen to the rail. And again, we're not going to read all of Kim's notes, but there's the difficulty rating, 1 out of 5. So it's make the ball in the corner pocket and 1 rail into the zone.
All right. Let's give the players a look.
That's on you, Trevor.
No, that's the shot.
No, that's the one we just did. There we go. Perfect.
Okay. Ready to go? See, we told you something to get messed up. It was on me. You're free, Cheddar. I messed up first.
So Amy Cool says that is the scoreboard fuzzy? I don't know. You know, and that's this is one of the things too, that this is experimental for us here as well, because the lights are much dimmer than what is typical in any other match, and that's one of the adjustments what we're going to have to make, obviously. All right, 1 point for Dan Ramstack. So I think, Amy, that fuzziness is probably on your end. Actually, if anybody else in the chat is having the same issues, please let me know. Ooh, this looks like another. It is not 7 instead of 10.
Be a 7. Yep. It's a good shot though. Good adjustment there. Dan made that, adjusted his speed correctly, and again, as we stated, since the cue ball hit the rail inside of the zone, it's good where it is.
You know, one of the things we've been toying with too is miking up the players. And there's a reason why I bring this up, is because you guys in the chat, you can't hear what is going on with the players. They're having a blast out there. I mean, both they're laughing, joking, whatever. This is not something that you see in a 9-ball match or a tournament or, you know, something of that nature.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a fun game, and you're learning at the same time. All right, 7 for Dan Yenor.
Yep. Gives the players an opportunity to challenge themselves and train, but still not have to have quite the focus and mental pressure that you would have to have during other match play situations.
All right, shot number 9 of 30. Looks like pocketing. This looks very familiar to the one before, only it's coming obviously from a different angle. And
yep, same sort of thing though, where
the zone is in a different area. Yeah,
where the thickness of the hit on the one ball is going to make all the difference, if you will, in the path of the cue ball. So let's see if that previous shot gave him a little more intuition into this, or a little more study of it, so that they can perform better here.
Very good point, Fong. Oh, look at this.
Oh,
slow down. Oh, just crept out of the.
I think
I think I may have to go see this one.
That's gonna be awful close. We're gonna have to have Cheddar go out and have a look at this one again too.
Dan's out there trying to cheat. I'm not going to tell you which one.
So was that a 7 or a 10?
That was a 7.
That was a 7, okay.
This might change, though. Oh, no, that one's going out of the zone.
Yep. That one he definitely put a little too much juice on. You could see as soon as he hit it, he knew as well. So
57-37. Mr. Yenor is going to have to get on his horse here.
Do some catching up.
Oop, slow down.
Yep.
Boy, that was right on the line, Trevor.
Yep, he had that one well dialed into the line. Just needs to dial in his speed a little bit.
Ooh, this is 10.
That one.
This is 10. Look
well
at this.
done. Right
Look at
in the
this.
middle.
Center of the zone.
Well done, Dan Yenor.
That's fantastic.
Well done. Right in the center of the zone, and that is a big improvement from when they did the kind of mirrored version of that. I believe Dan got 4 points out of that last one, so he learned.
All right. Shot number 10, and then we're going to go to a very, very quick commercial break. One of our sponsors actually is one of the players of the 16 and the newest sponsor of Outer Points Production. So
wonderful.
Very proud to be displaying this one. So shot number 10, and I'll let the players know we're going to take a... Actually, we don't even have to let them know. Let's do it.
All right. Shot number 10. So this one looks like it is drawn up so that you can, if you do catch the rail ahead of the zone, it is okay. So this is one instance where you can see the line coming back from the object ball is split. So I saw in his notes there that Kim has designed this shot so catching the rail or not, in this instance, catching the rail is allowed. So a little bit different, and how very forgiving of Kim to allow us this extra little bit here. Thank you, Kim. So Dale quickly explaining that to the players.
Yeah, and this shot, you want to hit that object ball super thin on the right side and let that spin. You want to load up on a lot of left-hand spin to get into the zone. It can either hit the rail or go in direct.
So Dan Yenor made the first shot. Let's see what adjustment. Oh boy. Yeah, a little frustrated with that. Definitely not the outcome he was looking for. This is, again, as we've kind of stated, and everybody states it in matches, but this will give you an exact idea of it. These pocket hangers are easy to make the shot, but one of the biggest components of a general game is you need to get position. And the entire point of Stroke Zone is getting the position. So Dan Yenor does get his point for making the shot. Let's see what Mr. Ramstack can do. He chooses to go the uber thin route.
7 points.
And gets a 7-pointer out of it. I'm wondering if a really well-struck draw shot with very precise hit could get you back up the rail off of this.
That's so inconsistent, though.
Yes? Okay. I'd try it, but, you know, I like to live dangerously like that sometimes.
All right, folks. Real quick, as I just mentioned, we're going to talk about this gentleman right here, but we're going to play his video first. Check this out. It's pretty... A real brief description of Mr. Peter Source is his name, and he owns the martial arts studio, Source Martial Arts, down in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Been in business for 27 years, serving the Milwaukee with traditional Taekwondo, Anayan Eskrima, and Danzan Ryu Jiu-Jitsu. That's really difficult to say.
Those are you definitely need to ask someone for
some
pronunciation help on those.
I think so. Peter focuses on personal growth, offering safe, tailored training for all levels, enhancing life skills alongside self-defense. Join their community where martial arts empower everyone. Just a super nice guy, and I can't wait for him to get... He has the projection system at home, and I'm assuming he's probably practicing right now. But
I would bet. I would bet he is practicing.
All right, on to shot number 11.
All right. Shot number 11. Looks like we have a zone kind of out in the middle a little bit in the corner of the table. Little Cheddar going out and clarifying some things for them. You can see here that we're going to be pocketing the 11 in the corner, as Mr. Davenport says. Cue ball going one rail into the zone. A bit of a finesse shot. Okay, I'm going to go back one shot here. Okay, so little Cheddar kind of explaining the nuance of the ways you can hit the rail, and that previous shot allowed two paths, whereas the current shot will not.
It's anybody's game. Plus, you got 20 more shots.
All right. So the players setting up the shot.
Yeah, just giving the players Dan didn't quite understand, and that's going to happen. Dan Yenor did not understand that he could go into the rail on that previous shot. And that's good.
Yep.
So that is our first
I think that is our first
0 point, other than the kick shot in the side.
Correct. Yep. Other than the kick shot, this is our first direct shot 0-pointer. So, Mr. Ramstack, I'm sure, will make an adjustment from there.
All right. That is 1 point.
1 point.
You know, I was just describing to Dan Yenor, or both Dans out there, that this is such a close match yet right now. Even though it's 17 points apart,
Yes.
it's not even close to being done yet. There's
No.
so many different things that can happen. That's the cool part
Yep.
of this game.
Everybody's gonna have to change their mindset a little bit from gameplay in 8, 9, and 10 ball, where 3 or 4 games is a very big gap, and to here, the difference between a 6 and a 10-point shot is 4 points.
Right. And actually, Thomas Campbell just made a really good point, is the fact that I give Dan Yenor his 1 point.
He does get a point there, yep.
And we'll transition this over there.
Get into the next shot.
Dan Campbell made a great point, is you can come back, from behind relatively quickly.
Absolutely.
If your opponent, is having all of a sudden starting to struggle, you get 7, 10.
In fact, I remember in a match that we played where perhaps I might have ended the game ahead of you. I'm just saying, that at one point I believe
remember
I was down maybe 15 points, I believe, there.
I remember it well.
And absolutely was able to come back and finish a couple of points ahead. So in 3 or 4 innings, 10, 15-point swings are not unheard of.
And here's another thing, along with what Anthony Sadlin was talking about before, asked the question. You can design all of your own shots. You can design your own set. You can design anything that you want. Again, there's 120 amateur layouts and 60 professional layouts. You can do any order of those to create your own, or just create your own shot entirely. If Trevor mentioned that earlier, that if you're struggling with a difficult shot, if the cue ball's on the rail or something like that, set it up on the system itself and shoot it over and over and over and try to get that cue ball into the zone where you need to. This is getting a little bit heavy.
So that'll be 7.
7
Yep,
points.
his first shot was a 7-pointer for Dan Ramstack.
Total of 72 at the moment.
So yeah, that's a great component of this is the ability to design your own shots and with the projection pro system be able to load them into the system and continually have the position every time.
Oh, get in there.
That's going to be
Get
good.
in there. Look at
Well
this.
played. Nope.
All right,
No,
that is a 10-pointer.
Yep.
And
there you
actually,
go.
and that's one of the things that has never been brought up yet. So, Dan Yenor just asked the question: if he shoots the first shot and makes 10, does he have to shoot the second shot? Absolutely not. I mean, you can't score better than 10. So,
You cannot. No.
all right.
You gave him 1 point, not 10. He needs 9 more.
Whoops. All right, we got to do some score correction here. There we go.
That's better.
All right, well, let's give him the next layout, and then we're going to – what are we on here? 13.
Should
All right.
be layout 13. All right. Let's get it up there for the players. So we see here it's a pretty common shot in gameplay situations where you got one of these balls into the side pocket and need to go straight up table for perhaps the winning shot into the Vincent Didio Memorial pocket. God forbid.
Everybody's favorite shot on the stream table here at Varsity Club. Get over that line. Get over that line. Ooh, this is another.
Another close one, but I...
Of course, the
line?
first thing is when I walked out there, Dan Yenor says, "Oh, yeah, just a little short like you."
Of course.
Again, thanks everybody for tuning in to this very first Stroke Zone Challenge here at Varsity Club. Dan Yenner's getting a little frustrated with himself out
Yes.
there. I love it. This is not an easy game. And I'm actually standing. Trevor is, so you're looking at the booth cam here. I'm actually standing because I have to.
I'm still just sitting here. So both of those shots rolled a little forward of the line and didn't get to the zone. What adjustments do you think Dan Yenor could make to change the path of that cue ball, Cheddar?
Just a little bit more of the middle of the cue ball and force the shot into the pocket a little more. Obviously, he just needed a little bit more speed as well.
Yep.
Actually, he had 1 on that last one, so I missed scoring that one.
He did.
And looks like Dan Ramstack is going to end up with a 4.
Mhm. Yep. Don't think that quite breaks the 6-point line. He's good with the 4. Cheddar going to go out and make for certain. Did he cross the line?
Nope, that was a 4-pointer.
So 4 points it is. So that gets Dan Yenor still within 16. So he is making up ground here as we move on to shot number 14.
Oh, this is one of my favorites. I really like this because you draw the cue ball. This is about cue ball control to the nth degree.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to scratch in that corner pocket. So let's set it up and show the players and see what their reaction is.
See what they think about this. Drawing towards the Vincent Didio Memorial pocket. So Mr. Ramstack will be first, currently leading by 16 points. But again, as we've said, 16 points is not much of a deficit here. We'll have to kind of recalibrate our thought processes as players.
All right, 1 point.
That's a 1-pointer. And again, a note, had that managed to sneak into the zone from there after touching the rail outside the zone, it would not count.
Yep, very good point, old school. This is all right. Here's the perfect situation. So it did hit the zone or went through the zone on the way through.
Yep.
And ended up in the 7, staying in the zone. So that does count as 7 points.
That is a 7-pointer. Well played.
That's something you never hear about in basketball. 7-pointer.
No, I've never heard of it.
From one end of the court to the other, I would think.
I think that's from beyond the
in the
out of
crowd.
bounds. Yeah. Somebody in the crowd dunks for 7 points.
Oop. A little too much draw. And you know what? That's the same exact thing that Dan Ramstack did his first shot as well.
That is. So let's see if Mr. Yenor can make the adjustment.
That is why this game system itself is designed the way that it is. You get 2 shots at each one of the layouts because you're going to make adjustments. It's just
did.
like in, absolutely. That's perfect.
Well done. Well played. 7-pointer. So they both earn 7 on that one.
All right, still down by 16, and we are on to our 15th and final shot of basically set number 1.
Set number 1, correct.
1B, and then we're going to go on to 2A.
Have a little halftime show here for you after this shot. So, again, looks like we have another 1-rail position where we go one ball into a corner pocket, and we go 1 rail back across the table, heading at the side pocket. Everybody's favorite way to scratch, but this time we don't want to scratch. So again, Dan Ramstack will start us out here.
All right, we're gonna have a little fun with everybody because the creator of the mastermind behind this is in the chat already, Mr. Don Mackey. So you see him all kinds of comments and so on. We're gonna give him a call live. So I hope you're ready, Don. All right, so 1 point for Dan Ramstack. Here's what I was talking about earlier, Trevor. This is the perfect opportunity.
Yep.
Dan Ramstack only scored 1 point.
Yep.
Perfect opportunity for Dan Yenor to get a 10-pointer.
Absolutely.
And this is basically, it's straight follow.
Yep. This is all about the speed of your cue ball.
All right, crossed. Ooh.
I believe that crossed from looking at the overhead. It sure looks awful close here. Yep. So he did get 4 out of that one, but this is absolutely Dan Yenor could make up a lot of points here in just this one shot. So a little adjustment from him and to get that ball to go into the fat part of the zone.
All right, it crossed the zone. So now if this goes into the 7, it counts as 7.
Oh, it sure looks like
I
it
got to
might
look
have.
at it.
Yep. It sure looks like it might have. Sure looks like it might have from here. So, folks, that is our first set, and that is a 7-pointer for Dan Yenor. So that's 6 points, cutting into the lead, making it now just a 10-point lead at halftime for Dan Ramstack.
That's good stuff. That is good stuff.
Shows you just how quickly you can chip away at leads here. So, Little Cheddar getting the big provolone on the phone.
Cheddar,
Mr. Mackey, are you there?
I am, sir. I am here.
Well, fantastic. Our viewers, I believe, can hear you, and we're going to find out actually from them real quick. If anybody can give us a thumbs up, actually, Don, you might be able to hear yourself in your wherever you're watching it, and you could give yourself a thumbs up.
Boy.
Is there a delay, Dale?
No, there is not. Absolutely. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. You are live. So, Mr. Mackey, if you would, for our viewers, what is it that we're doing here today? Put you
Well,
right
hopefully
on the
that was
spot.
fun. The first objective is fun. The second objective actually is to play a game that every shot counts. The third objective is to give every player in a game or a tournament equal opportunity. So it's an equal challenge. The fact that each player shoots the same shot, there's no luck, there's no big break that you get a great layout. Conditions are equal. The other thing that it affords, Dale, which has never been done before, is you could play against other players in different locations. So in other words, you could be playing here at the varsity club, and we could have guys playing, let's say, at Jimmy Wetch's place up in Minneapolis, and down here at Capone's in Tampa, and so forth and so on. In other words, you can link tables wherever they are into one match or one tournament.
What?
And
Could you explain that a little bit further, Don? How does that work?
Well, it's internet connectivity is how it works. But because we've built the zone, which is the digital hub, and all of the scoring is connected to the zone, and everybody's playing the same layouts, right? In other words, if different rooms or different tables join in through the hub and get into an event, whether it's match play, tournament play, league play, whatever, everybody's shooting the same shots each inning.
That's an absolutely.
So you've got equal challenge, and it's all the scoring is recorded, whether by phone or by like what you're doing. You have a master control. You're what we call the organizer, right? Mm-hmm. So you're entering the scores. So in the different rooms, an organizer would be entering the scores, right? Or the players can simply do it over their phone or with a laptop or a tablet, and it all goes into the zone.
So I'm here at Varsity Club. I can play somebody in Sacramento, California. The two of us can play somebody in the Philippines, and those three players can play somebody that's down in Florida all at the same time.